Blood grave. 50 years ago, somewhere in the Appalachian Mountains, 4 grave robbers crouched atop a small mound of earth, their eyes fixed on the shovel planted in the ground. No one spoke. The only sound was the wind whispering through the trees. The shovel's blade had just emerged from the soil, caked with damp dirt. But something was off. A thick crimson liquid seeped from the clumps of earth, trickling down the metal like thaw. Damn it all! The old man, Red Malone, tapped the bowl of his corncob pipe against a rock, knocking out the ashes. His face was lined with years of hard living, his beard yellowed from tobacco smoke. We got a real problem on our hands, boys. That ain't just any grave down there. Looks like we've hit a blood ghoul's nest. And if we ain't careful, we're all gonna end up in the dirt. The one-eyed young man, Jesse, scoffed. So what? We came all this way just to turn back. Hell with that, old man. He spat into the dirt and checked the magazine of his Tommy gun. You're slow on your feet anyway. You stay up here. Me and my brother will handle whatever's down there. Bullets solve everything. Red chuckled, shaking his head. He turned to the burly, bearded man beside him. Your boy's got fire, I'll give him that. But this ain't a goddamn shootout in a saloon. You tell him, Boone, this job ain't just about having a gun. Boone glared at Jesse. Boy, you best watch your tongue when you talk to Red. He was digging up graves before you were even a stain in your daddy's shorts. Jesse held up his hands. Fine, fine. Just saying, if there's a blood ghoul down there, that means treasure. Lots of it. If we walk away now, we might as well piss on our own boots. Enough. Boone smacked the back of Jesse's head. Show some damn respect. The youngest of the group, a scrawny teenager everyone called Pip, crossed his arms. Why do I gotta stay behind? I want to go down there too. Red laughed. Kid, somebody's got to hold the rope. When we yell, you pull us up. Do it right, and maybe I'll let you keep a gold coin or two. I don't need your charity, Pip muttered, but he knew better than to argue. Red turned back to Jesse and Boone. All right, listen up. I go first, Jesse follows. Boone brings up the rear. Pip, you stay topside and keep that rope tight. If things go sideways, you haul us out, fast. With that, they got to work. Half an hour later, the tunnel was deep enough that the men below were barely visible. Only Jesse would occasionally climb back up for air before dropping back down. Pip, growing impatient, leaned over the hole and yelled, Hey, you done yet? A few seconds passed. Then Jesse's muffled voice echoed from the pit. Not sure. Stay up there and hold the rope tight. Then Red's voice, lower, sharper. Shut up and listen. There's something down here. Silence. A dead, suffocating silence. Then a sound. A horrible sound. A deep, throaty gurgle, like a toad croaking in the dark. Then Jesse screamed, Pip, pull! Pip reacted instantly, gripping the rope and yanking with all his strength. But something else was pulling too. Something powerful. The rope went taut, nearly dragging Pip into the hole. His feet slipped on the dirt. Thinking fast, he looped the rope around his waist and threw himself backward, using his full weight as leverage. His body leaned at a sharp angle, his heels digging into the ground. Whatever was pulling from below, it wasn't going to win. Then, from deep inside the pit, a gunshot rang out, a single deafening blast. Red's voice roared up from the darkness. Run, boy, run! The rope suddenly slackened. Something shot out of the tunnel, tumbling onto the ground at Pip's feet. He caught it on instinct. And then he screamed. In his hands was a severed hand. It was still fresh, still dripping. And Pip knew that hand. He had spent his whole life watching it swat him upside the head, ruffle his hair, shove him aside when he was too slow. It was Jesse's hand. Tears blurred Pip's vision, but there was no time to mourn. He turned and ran. He ran blindly through the dark forest, not stopping until his lungs burned and his legs nearly gave out. Only then did he dare to look behind him. Something was standing there, something red, a human figure, skinless, bloodied. Its entire body was raw and glistening, like a man flayed alive, yet somehow still moving. Pip had seen his fair share of horrors, but nothing like this. His instincts screamed at him, "Shoot." He reached for the pistol at his belt, fingers tightening around the grip. If that thing so much as twitched, he'd fill it full of lead. The thing twitched. Pip fired. A full round straight into its chest. The bullets tore through its body, spraying blood in every direction. The creature stumbled back a step, but it didn't fall. Pip's heart pounded. He steadied his shaking hands and aimed for its head. He pulled the trigger. Click. Nothing. The gun had jammed. A cold chill shot up his spine. The creature lunged. Pip threw the gun at its face and bolted. He ran faster than he'd ever run in his life, heading for the thickest tree he could find. Maybe it can't climb, he thought. But fate wasn't on his side. His foot caught on a root. He fell. His face slammed into a tree stump, and hot blood flooded his mouth. He barely had time to curse before he felt it. A weight pressing on his back. A foot. The thing was standing on him. A wave of nausea hit Pip as pain seared through his ribs. His vision blurred, his ears buzzed, and then he heard it again. The gurgling. Not from the thing on his back. Number from somewhere else. Slowly, dizzily, Pip forced himself to look up. A massive, impossible face was looming over him. Its empty eyes stared down at him, black pits of nothingness. Then it smiled. The last thing Pip heard before the darkness swallowed him was the wet, unnatural sound of that thing laughing.